In 4 days, live arbitrage betting, I made $1,605. Holy! In this video, I am going to break down these 4 days and explain to you my live arbitrage setup. I'm also going to go through various examples so that you can see firsthand why this is such a lucrative strategy. Before we jump into the setup, let me just quickly explain how arbitrage betting is even possible, or what the heck it actually is. You see, all of these sportsbooks are in competition for your business, so they want to be unique and stand out from the crowd. So they set all of their odds or prices on their own. And so utilizing a software, and the software that I use is OddsJam, they're going to be able to point out the inefficiencies where sometimes these books get really out of sync with one another. So let me show you a quick example of a pregame arbitrage bet. So in this pregame arbitrage bet, I placed a wager over on Bet365 on Case and Wallace to score 10 points or more in the game. And then over at Bet Parks, a Canby sportsbook, I bet the under 9.5 points. So he's either going to score 10 points or more in the game, and if that's the case, the bet wins on Bet365, or if he scores 9 points or less, the bet is going to win on Bet Parks. My total investment on both of these slips combined is $165. Now, when I say pregame, I mean that I placed this wager earlier in the afternoon before the game ever even started. So I have $165 totally invested into this play. If the over hits in the game and Wallace scores 10 points or more, I'm going to receive my original $65 wager back from Bet365 plus $110.50 of profit. Then we're going to subtract the $100 wager that I placed over at Bet Parks, and that leaves me with $10.50 of pure profit. If the under hits and Wallace scores less than 10 points, my wager on Bet Parks will win. I'll receive my $100 back plus $73 in profit. My wager on Bet365 will lose, so we'll have profited $8. Pre-game arbitrage betting is what I used as my main strategy when I started sports betting over 3 years ago. And in my first 17 days back in September of 2021, I made almost $5,000 utilizing this strategy. In that example with Case and Wallace, we're going to bring back a 5 or 6% return off of our investment. Naturally, if I wagered more money, my return would be a lot higher. So the reason that I love arbitrage betting is that over the last couple of years, there's been a very big shift in the betting community from pregame betting to live betting. And for live arbitrage, there's a number of different reasons why I love to use this strategy. The first reason is limits. Anyone that learns anything about profitable sports betting will soon realize that you're going to get limited by these sports books if you make money off them. That's not the ideal customer that the sports book wants. But with live betting, the longevity of your account lasts longer compared to pregame betting. The second reason is with live betting, the sports books are pushing you to live bet more, so your limits are increased when it comes to live betting compared to pregame betting. The third reason is the sports books use a metric to try to figure out or profile you if you're a sharp sports bettor or a casual sports bettor, and that metric is closing line value, or CLV. Meaning, what was the price that you placed your wager at, the time and the price that you received the wager compared to minutes before the game started. And typically, if you're placing your bets earlier in the day on player prop bets, like for the MLB, NHL, or NBA, or like for the NFL, if you're placing your bets on a Monday or Tuesday when the game doesn't start until Sunday, you can beat the sports books more often than not, receiving a really good price. Meaning that maybe you placed the bet on LeBron James over on his points at -105, 5 hours before the game started, and minutes before the game started, that same line that you bet at is now not -105, it's up to -160. Well, you received incredible value, meaning that when LeBron hits that over, you're going to get paid out a lot more by placing that bet earlier in the day compared to right before the game started. And so with pregame betting, the books have a lot of time to figure out, looking at your account activity and your history, when are you placing these bets, and seeing that this person is getting a great price consistently, well, that's not the ideal customer that they want. But with live betting, things are moving so quickly, it's hard to figure out from the sports books if you're actually getting an incredible price at that time. Plus, the sports books want you to live bet, and well, you're doing exactly what they ask. So just to recap why I love live betting more compared to pregame betting, well, number one, your profit margins or your ROI is going to be a lot higher. Number two, the sportsbooks want you to bet live, so you're actually looking and putting some camouflage on you as a degenerate bettor. Your limits are going to be increased so you can wager a lot more. It's going to be very difficult for the sportsbooks to figure out if you're getting incredible closing line value because, well, the odds are moving so fast that it's difficult for them to determine if you're a sharp or a casual bettor. Literally right before I pressed record, I found an awesome live ARB opportunity as college basketball games are going on right now in the middle of the afternoon. In this example between Bet365 and FanDuel, we're looking at the total points market in the Cincinnati-Oklahoma State basketball game. What is the over-under? So the combined score of both teams, that is going to tell us the total points in the game. The first thing that you want to pay attention to is that there is a hook attached to these wagers, meaning that over at Bet365, there's an over 133.5. On FanDuel, there's an under 133.5. There is no way in college basketball for a team to score a half a point, so what the hook does is clearly define a winner and a loser. If there's 134 points or more scored in the basketball game, the wager wins on Bet365 and it loses on FanDuel. If there's 133 points or less in the game, the wager wins on FanDuel and loses on Bet365. Number two, the plus odds are larger than the minus odds. That's how we know we have an arbitrage opportunity available. Plus 200 is a larger number than minus 160, or think of it this way, 200 is a bigger number than 160. We know that we can make guaranteed profits with this opportunity. So in this example, I place a $110 wager over at Bet365 and then a $200 wager over at FanDuel. The total investment is $310, 200 from FanDuel plus 110 from Bet365. If the basketball game ends in a total score of 134 points or more, then my wager will win over at Bet365. I'm going to receive my $110 back from Bet365 plus $220 in profit. Subtract the $200 wager that I placed over at FanDuel, and that leaves us with $20 in net profit. If there's 133 points or less scored in the basketball game, my wager wins on FanDuel and loses on Bet365. I will receive my $200 back from FanDuel plus $125 in profit. Subtract my $110 wager over at Bet365, and that leaves me with $15 in net profit. No matter what happens in this game, I'm going to make $15 or $20. And while I would prefer the over to hit, I really don't care. I know that I'm making money no matter what happens. Let's go ahead and break down my filter setup over at OddsJam, and there is a very important setting that you want to focus on. This is the setting that I've been using that's helped me become so profitable with live ARBs. Over here at OddsJam, I am on the arbitrage tool and I am selected to live. Now I do have this playing right now. You're going to see my pause play button flickering back and forth. I'm currently looking and searching for profitable college basketball opportunities. The feature that has completely changed my live arbitrage journey is this in-game status button right here. I just have stoppage selected. So anytime the game's in a commercial break or halftime or an injury timeout, when the game is paused, this gives us additional time to go ahead and lock in these bets. Arbitrage betting, when it's live, moves very quickly, so any additional seconds that we can find for ourselves is a big deal. Guys, linked in the description will be a 1-week free trial to OddsJam, and then use my code BILLYC to save yourself 35% off your first month after the 1-week trial ends. Something that I love to focus on with live arbitrage betting is the one-click bet feature. Books like BetMGM, Caesars, FanDuel, even DraftKings, where all you have to do is click the one-click bet feature. The bet is automatically going to be pulled up for us. Now, outside of the stoppage feature, guys, anything that's maybe 2 or 3% is my minimum ROI that I'm looking to set up. Now, for my sports, we're in the middle of the afternoon on a Tuesday. The only thing that's going on at the moment is college basketball because there's a lot of conference tournaments going on at the moment. So I have basketball selected, but specifically within basketball, the league that I have selected is college hoops. Now, the market, I am just focused on main markets and alternate markets, but feel free to click off alternate markets, focus on main markets. This is really going to help you hone in on specific markets. The date range is for today. Now, when it comes to the DVIG settings, I typically leave this to Pinnacle, but you can also use OddsJam's formula as well. A couple of tips when it comes to live arbitrage betting. Number one, I like to bet in zeros or fives. So if the tool recommends that I wager $91, I'm just going to round down and bet $90. If it tells me to wager $124, I round up to $125. If you're in that sweet spot of $122 or $123, then either round down to 120 or round up to 125. Make yourself appear like a casual sports bettor. No one goes out and places an arbitrage bet for $113. It just doesn't happen. So wager 110 or 115. Number 2, pregame arbitrage betting is like playing college football. And then when you move to live arbitrage betting, that's like getting drafted into the NFL. The speed of the game is increased exponentially, so you need to have a lot of patience. You're not going to be able to capture every single play on the board. Just focus on one play, locking that in, and then moving on to the next one. If you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out to me and ask. My email is going to be linked in the description below. Use me as a guide when it comes to your live arbitrage betting journey, because I know what it's like starting out. It can be frustrating, but once you lock in the strategy, it can be very profitable. If you're brand new to your arbitrage betting journey, I would start with pregame arbitrage. That's how I got started, and it really helps to understand the ropes and learn the strategy first before you jump into live, because the speeds are so increased. Click this video right here that's going to walk you through pregame arbitrage betting. It's going to answer all the FAQs and dive into this strategy specifically so that you'll know it from A to Z. Then you're going to be able to take the concepts that you learned from pregame arbs and apply it to live arbs and really crush these sports books.